Welcome back, everybody, to the donglingcha podcast, episode 4. I'm Gabriel.
Jerry.
Sight is here. What's up, guys?
How's everyone doing?
Very good, very good. Not bad.
Another weekend. Welcome back, everyone. So today we have a spicy topic. We are going deep down into relationships. So we are going to talk about long distance relationship. So what do you guys think about the concept? Does it work?
So, let's go around the room. Has everybody been in a long distance relationship?
I have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all three of us have been in a long distance relationship. I think long distance relationship works only if both parties are mature enough.
What do you mean by both parties?
Like,
elaborate,
like
please.
The two person in the relationship is mature enough and they have the same goal in mind, and that they're mature enough to look past the nuances of a long distance relationship, and they will find a way around it to make it work. But if either one or both is not at that mental level yet, then it would surely fail. That is my opinion.
That's hard to say, because there are so many more methods of communication right now. Mm-hmm. And I do think that at first, when I started my long distance relationship, I thought that we could do web chat, or we could communicate better and all that. But at the same time, it takes up a lot of my personal time, and it's not that easy. And without actually seeing the physical body and be able to touch that person, it might sound weird, but it's pretty tough. I'm not sure about the maturity aspect of the relationship, but I think in general, I don't think it will work.
I would say it really depends on the couple themselves. I have seen people who made it work. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, of course, the majority of it didn't work, but did it not work because of the underlying problems in the relationship, or it didn't work because solely of long distance relationships? That's debatable, I would say. Like, wouldn't you say the long distance part is the catalyst that caused the eventual breakup, or is it actually the long distance itself that's the problem, that's the issue? I would say I could really argue on both points.
Can I ask, how long was that period of long distance relationship that you guys had? Because for me, I'm not sure if I should be commenting on this, because for me it's 1 or 2 months, and I can't deal with that BS anymore.
Time is a factor, but still, you are in a long distance relationship once two entities are far apart.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's a month or a week or
But I still get you have to understand 1 or 2 months is compared to 1 or 2 years is quite substantial. You have to continue that connection for such a long time, let's say in years, right? Mm-hmm. So why I think that the time is very important in this case, because if you think about it, 2 months compared to 2 years is quite substantially larger. So I think even if you guys are doing webcam conversation on WhatsApp or whatever, 2 years to maintain that consistency is quite hard. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what I think.
Do you think the type of person you are definitely affects the success rate? And do you know of the type of love language matters? Because some people are physical touch, some people are quality time. What else is there?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Right.
Of course, there are so many factors that affect this relationship, but I think
Yeah,
even
like
the
the
way.
astrology.
Oh, I
Astrology.
see. Oh, I see. Yeah. But like how the couple communicate and all that is also very important. Like if you guys are not seeing each other, should you like in terms of language, should you be like more sweet towards them or like more provocative or like or should you be more formal? Like I never sort that out and it's just very mentally draining and very annoying to. I guess I'm not the mature one now, Gabriel. What am
No,
I?
no, no. I definitely
Because I just
understand.
think it's so bloody annoying to like set up all this time and stuff, right?
Right.
Well, I mean, like if you think about it, like there are so many, like each person they have their own stuff to do. Like for me, it was back in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got all this good work and like studying, and so does she, right?
Right.
So I'm not sure how it will work if we are talking about now when we're working, but back then I don't think it worked, and there are just so many factors involved that I don't think a long distance relationship would ever work because you don't have enough communication between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, even right now, me and my girlfriend, we don't talk much during the weekdays.
Uh-huh.
So okay, I'm contradicting myself, but let's see what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree that it is hard to spend time with another person when you're doing a long distance relationship because of the time difference. For me, it was a 12 to 13 hour time difference, and when I would wake up, she would go to bed, or when she wakes up, I would go to bed, and it is just such awkward hours. And if you cannot find a compromise, it is very you you basically cannot spend any time with each other if you don't really plan it out well or schedule it well. Yeah, so in my experience, for my long distance relationship, I was in that relationship for 6 years, and out of the six
Holy
years,
shit!
out of the 6 years, four, I would say about 4 years was long distance relationship. So we would date. We had dated a year before I left for the States to study, and I would just go back home, and then that's the time that we would spend time together, and the accumulated time would be like 2 years out of the 6 years, and I thought it would have worked out, like even towards the end, I thought it would have worked out. I thought we had a good system going on, but things change, circumstances change, and it's just very easy to break. It is very easy to fail a long distance relationship, as opposed to a normal relationship. Like there are things that could happen that could go wrong, uh, without the other person knowing, and then everything just goes to shit.
I want to chip in to. I mean, I'm not sure if this is totally related. Um, I don't know if this is like something you guys would do, but I was like I watch a lot of YouTube and I stumbled across this. Give me a second.
He's
Get
so
the
cute.
cat away
He
from
keeps licking the my mic.
Hey, let the cat talk, okay? I don't want to listen to
Yeah,
you.
okay, you want to talk?
You know what?
Come
Fuck
talk.
your opinion. Get a cat.
Come talk. Thank you for your opinion. Okay, yeah. What was I saying? Uh, yeah, I was watching these YouTube videos and it was called School of Life. This channel,
Mm.
and basically it teaches you how you should act. Its argument is like you go to school and you learn how to be a like literate or like intellectual. You go to every place to learn how to do something, but in terms of like how you should be in a relationship, you never learn. And that whole YouTube uh, teaches you how to like be or act in a relationship. or like give you thoughts. And I just thought it was very interesting because like you have to learn. Actually, no one really raised this up, but you actually have to learn how to stay in a relationship with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And why I brought this up is they had a video about long distance relationship, and basically to summarize the whole video, it's just says that the two people, like Gabriel said, in a sense, you have to be very forgiving, or like you have to be very lenient with each other in order to have a long distance relationship to like have it work. And I feel like these things are also affected by the underlying, um, you know, your underlying way of how you usually communicate and or like spend time with your other partner. Like if you guys aren't good at communicating already, a long distance relationship would only amplify that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So personally, I've been in a long distance relationship for about a year, and I wouldn't say necessarily didn't work, uh, but I would say there are a lot more circumstances that would get in your way,
Mm.
and
I
like
agree.
what usually wouldn't like would usually could be solved by like physical presence of your partner, that option is like taken away. So you kind of have to like face each other through like just talking and just through like verbally, and I feel like that's what exacerbates the whole situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I to add to that, I think from my personal uh, experience, I don't think long distance relationship was what caused my relationship to end. It definitely contributed to it, but then at the end of the day, the last straw, or like the thing that broke the whole relationship, was not because of long distance. It was of other issues that came up. And if you don't have, I would say trust is very important in a long distance relationship, because you cannot physically enforce any, I don't know, any rules, or you can't restrict another person doing things physically. And I'm not saying that you should, even though you're like in close proximity, but you don't have that immediate threat, so it is easier to get away with things in long distance relationship. But if it comes to that, then the relationship wouldn't have worked out anyway, if there is the potential of things going wrong, or like people not trusting each other, or you know, or being overprotective. Things like that are red flags for a relationship anyway. So in a normal relationship, whether or not you were long distance, if it fails because of those like attributes, then the the relationship would fail either way.
Yeah, I think we three could like agree to. I think long distance relationship is just one factor that made everything worse. That made everything harder to accomplish. I also think that the words, like if you communicate through WhatsApp or even voice call, it's pretty hard to get your message towards that person
Mm.
compared to like how you like talk to them face to face. Um, Also like daily activities that might like affect how that person thinks at that moment. Like if you're having a bad day, like you just say, "Oh, I don't want to talk today" or something like that. On the other end, that message might turn into like, "Oh, I just don't want to talk to you," right?
Yep. Yep.
So you might have like misread the message, and yeah, I think what you said about trust, that's very interesting because I think that's one of the bigger problem for me Because what is it's hard to put it. Because my ex girlfriend actually literally said like one time, oh, there's another boy that approached me and said that he liked me. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
That's awkward, you know. What's up?
Yo, Jerry, that's definitely your girlfriend trying to test your love for her.
Ooh.
Well, you know how that guy ended at the end, right?
What happened?
Oh, is that guy?
Oh my god. Okay, sorry. I wanna interject. So, it's funny because it's funny because
we're getting into spicy territory.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to start taking out the beeper again.
All right. So I say it's funny because that's the exact same thing that happened to me. So I said that relationship trust is the most important thing, which I put 100% trust in my ex, and well, she threw it away, but I think a few weeks or I forgot the exact timeline, but it was a few weeks before we broke up that she came up to me and said, hey, I feel guilty because I am confiding in this coworker that I'm really close with on things that I don't tell you about. And then, so for me, having 100% trust in her, I told her, you know what, if you feel guilty talking to this person, first of all, you don't have to talk to them if you don't want to. But if you think, if she feels guilty because she thinks that I'll be jealous or whatever, I told her that I have 100% trust in you. Do what you want. You are allowed to have male friends. Like I don't want to limit you to have friends that are only girls or whatever. And especially if it is your coworker, you see them every day, and you want to have a good relationship. But then I don't want them to get into a relationship, right? Having a good relationship with your coworker is a normal thing, but when we broke up, I had my suspicions because she initiated the breakup, and the first thing I asked her, are you dating this guy? Is it because of this guy that you felt guilty about in the past? And then she's like, no, I didn't cheat, I didn't do anything like that. Turns out they're dating. Like, what the fuck? you just told me that you didn't cheat. You it's not because of him that we broke up, it's because of differences between us. Then if there was differences between us, why did we date for 6 years? Like, wasn't that, well, how come when this person was introduced to your life, suddenly there are core differences? I don't know. I felt really salty at the moment, which I feel like it's natural. But then now that I think about it, if it would have been, it is just one thing that made her change her mind, right? So even if we weren't in a long distance relationship, it would have happened eventually. I may be not providing her, I may be not able to give her the attention that she needs, or the physical touch, or the being physically there with her. But I think that in the long run, if we were physically with each other, the result wouldn't have changed. And it's not like we didn't try to.
Agree.
It's not like we didn't try to fix the long distance problem. Like, we have discussed it, but every time we discussed either her moving here or possibility of me going back, she shuts down. It would always end in a fight, and I am not a very confrontational person, and I just let her time to cool off, so that we can reset. But then we never bring back up the topic, because when I bring the topic back up, it gets heated. So I cannot. There's no way for me to get my message through her. That's why I think ultimately it failed, because we let it kind of snowball out of control.
I think back to you said that you guys were together for so long.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my past relationship, one of them was we were together for 5 years, and to be honest, I definitely feel that in like the third year or so, like we weren't compatible with each other. Like we were actually pretty different, but I guess we're like blinded by love or whatever.
Right. Definitely.
I didn't really care about those. I think that what I think is like we can always make it work, right? I think that's what you think as well.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to understand that sometimes if the two people or two person is not compatible, it just won't work.
Yep.
So like the 5 years relationship, the last 2 years was actually really painful because I was trying to make it work, but I don't know if I'm comforting you, but maybe breaking up was a good reason because, to be honest, it wouldn't really work at the end because you guys are just not compatible, or you guys just don't see the same thing or the same goals that you guys want to reach in the future. Or yeah, because for me, like we all watch Rick and Morty, and the one thing that he always says is, "I love is just a chemical reaction that." Help the human species to breed, right? It starts strong and it slowly fades out, and I definitely agree with that. Like, especially with the sex part, where you're just like boosted to breed, and after that, like, you don't love the person as much. But at the same time, you have to understand that love is not only about like, just love and like. Not only about sex or like lovey dovey, I don't know how to put this, but it's also about like supporting each other, like building something together, and having someone that you could rely on and support you throughout this journey of life and build this investment of a family, if you know what I mean. So yeah, if you say like, oh, you have no love, I think it's you have to understand that it's not that easy to love someone forever, you know. Like I'm sure that there are some times that you just like during an argument or something, you're just like, oh wow, this person is sensitive. But like after a while, you talk and you communicate, and you're like, okay, we can work this out. But if it is in a toxic relationship where you just try to resolve things and it never get resolved, like what you said, during that moving around, like should they come over or not? If every time it ends in like a bad term, you might have to consider, oh, maybe this is not the right person.
Yep.
Maybe investing another 1 or 2 years wasn't a bright idea. So yeah, so ending might not be might not be a bad choice.
Yeah, in hindsight, it was definitely the better choice for both of us. Like she's doing great now. Like I wish her all the best. And I'm pretty sure if we kept dating, nothing would have changed. She would have still stayed in Hong Kong, and I would have still been staying here. It was just a matter of time that we, fall out.
Yeah, I agree with that. For me, it's the same. Like it actually ended. It should have ended earlier. Yeah.
I think Jerry brought up a good point about how two people, if they don't work, they would just wouldn't work. I always felt like love is at first, yeah, like it's a chemical reaction where both parties react to their chemical makeup of just like being attracted to a person. But in long term, I feel like it's a choice. It's a choice between the two people, and like Jerry said, if your goals don't align in the sense where you would want to, like your both of you have the same incentive or alignment in your outlook of life, you would sway apart, and in terms of like choice, you would choose to depart. I feel like at that point of the relationship, it becomes like a choice, an active choice, really, even after you're married, like an active choice between if you want to stay with your partner. Well, of course, there's more controlling relationships or like power related relationships where one party is unable to leave the other because of some certain aspects. But then, like, I think a normal good relationship is where two people choose to stay with each other.
I always see relationship as like a roller coaster. Like there's a lot of up at the beginning, but like throughout the relationship, throughout the years, it's gonna be like up and down. Like they're happy and unhappy. Like as like I think like maybe in like 40 years later, right? It would just be a straight line because you two are just like compromising with each other, right? As long as the roller coaster don't crash, you'll be fine. But, yeah.
Yeah. I definitely agree with Elot. I think ever since, as a kid, you always think that you would love one person forever and you die together or whatever. But as you grow older, so I dated the 6 year relationship was with my high school sweetheart. And, I always thought that, we could make it, we were high school sweethearts, we love each other so much, we're going to last forever. And the reality is that people grow and people grow apart. That's why like divorce is a thing where, you can be married to another person for 20 plus years, have kids, own a place together or whatever. And everything can just, I wouldn't say fall apart because it would be a calculated decision. Kind of, how Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, they divorced after, I don't know, like 50 years or something. That's
a
crazy.
Great example.
What?
That's a great example.
Yeah, and they have so much, they built so much together. It's not like Bill Gates was rich and then he married someone else and then, there's money involved or whatever. They grew up together when Bill Gates was, oh no, they didn't grow up together. Bill Gates was not successful when they got together. And basically all Microsoft or their Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, everything they built together, they have so much stuff tied with each other, and it just makes logical sense to get a divorce because they no longer have the love that they had for each other back when they first started dating. They could still love each other a lot, as friends or as parents to their child or as owners of the organizations that they have together, but it doesn't have to be, they don't have to be together forever. Like that's just very unrealistic.
I think for your case, I have a feeling that you're just staying in that relationship because you're already together for so many years. You're just trying to like hold on to it because I've worked so hard for, let's say, 4 years. Why can't we make it forever?
Right.
Because even for me, like I never gave up on my past relationship until the very end because you're like, I've invested so much into this relationship. I'm not gonna let go, even though it's not working for both of us. So I feel you.
That's exactly like the sunk cost fallacy. If you wait long enough, then it will eventually what you want will come. But that may never come, right? That may not be the case, and so I feel like humans are we're so fickle, and we hold on to things that we have because we're afraid to lose. My breakup, I was 24. It is the most pain I've ever felt in my life. I did not, physically and mentally, I was basically incapacitated. I was non-functional for a good while, and after that experience, I think I actually grew as a better person. I used to be very apathetic to things. I can sympathize with things, but I cannot empathize with it. Like, oh yeah, it is, this thing that happened can be really sad, but I wouldn't be able to really put my feelings put myself into their shoes. But after feeling that, it was kind of like a lowest point of my life, and I can relate to a lot of things better now. And I'm grateful for that experience, even though things don't work out. In hindsight, it made me stronger. It made me mentally stronger. It made me realize that that is not be all end all.
Yeah, back then I think after I broke up, I was just pretty pissed off for like 3 days straight. Like day and night, I would just wake up pissed and then like go eat my breakfast pissed. And just straight up the day, I'm just like so angry. And then I'm never dating again. Fuck this shit. Man. And then after like 1 month, I downloaded Tinder. Let's search out. Good lesson, I guess.
I obviously had a different experience than both of you. in terms of my long distance relationship. It did. I mean, at least for me, it didn't end not well, I would say. Like I mean, at least on my part, I feel like I wasn't right with her, so I broke up with her.
So you were the dumper, and we were both the dumpy.
Yeah.
I guess let me. I want to talk about how I feel like we, as younger people, at first, you take for granted that people or like older people that we see have their shit together. And like every marriage or relationship or family is a working one, but in reality that may not be the case. Maybe every family is facing the exact same issues that we may have in a relationship, but the only difference is they let it get so bad or so worse that it started a marriage, started a family, but the problems are still here. This could be like a very big possibility, and I've seen my fair share of families that didn't work and have the same exact issues. So I guess another way to look at it is having to experience this before you two build up something that's irreversible might be a better experience than actually just letting things go, not having this long distance relationship, letting it last until you actually get married, and then you find out the issues.
But at the same time, like how long are you gonna have this trial period? Because for both of us, it's like 6 and 5 years, right? That's quite a substantial
half a decade, yeah,
amount of time. We don't. Well, I mean, each time we learn something new, but I don't think I have that amount of time to waste on a particular person. You know what I mean? I would understand that you I think we would all agree on we'd rather waste more time and find the right partner than to just go into one blind and just waste life. You know what I mean? I would understand that. Yeah.
That's what I was gonna ask you. Like, would you let's say you never had this long distance relationship, would you have end up marrying your last ex? Like, would you want to?
Again, it's like going back to what I said with Gabriel. So we just forcing everything along the way. So marriage might be something that we might force into. Because for me, I just don't want to waste time. You know what I mean? I'm a pretty efficient person, and I that's not a good way to put it, but yeah, for me it's like efficiency. So if I'm just going according to my plan, I guess I didn't really care about hers per se. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it is ideal to date someone for a long time and then get married. That's the end goal, right? But I don't think it is a good idea to treat marriage as the solution of your problems. So what I mean is that you don't want to fix a shaky relationship with marriage. That is just pouring gasoline on fire.
I think that's the same as giving birth to a baby, like a child, to resolve a two people conflict. Like that's.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up.
I heard a lot of people doing that, and I'm not. That's just not ethical in my opinion.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up an example. Is my ex's friend had. It was a couple that had a really shaky relationship, and then, one of them didn't work, and they didn't want to take responsibilities and whatnot, and they ended up having a child by accident, and in their mind, they think that the child would motivate the guy to take up responsibility and he should look for work, and it's like in their mind it is a motivation for him to get his shit together. But in reality, you're just piling more shit on top of shit, and you make the problem worse. In the end, I think they lasted, a couple months, and then they got divorced. after the wedding, like they had a whole grand wedding, and
so
everybody, all of their relatives went. And in Chinese tradition, when you have a marriage, a lot of people actually pay. They give gifts to congratulate the marriage, right? And I feel like when I heard that story, I felt that they only wanted the baby for the marriage so that they can earn money from the marriage, and then split up. And it just makes no sense.
I don't think that was the sole purpose of the marriage. But I think in the relatives or the friends that attended their wedding, that I think they would just think that that's ridiculous and funny.
Yep.
It would turn to like a gossip tale. you know how Asians work. Right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's exactly what my brother did as well.
Are you calling out his brother? Are you calling out his brother right now?
No. My brother.
I know, Gabriel. Are you calling out his brother?
No.
He's not, but it's like, I always look back and I'm like, oh, that's so ridiculous. How do you get married for a year, like have this grand wedding, and get divorced after a year?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
It just seems
that's
like
so stupid.
Yeah, it's a foresight thing, right? They acted on reactions, and which I feel like a lot of people act on impulses. They want to fix things based on things that they think works. Like traditionally, once you get married, you're tied down, everything is stable. That's what they think. And speaking,
are you sure you're not talking about my brother?
I'm sure. I have not met him. I'm sure he's a great guy. Best wishes to him.
Alright, so I got this Hong Kong friend in Australia back then. She was also in a pretty toxic relationship with her boyfriend. And one day she came and I think they were almost at a breaking point, right? Like it's so bad. Like they actually engage in physical violence and all that.
Oh, that was sorry. Is that the one that you keep sending us videos of?
Yeah.
That girl. Oh my god. Okay.
Like her boyfriend literally flipped her over one time. Like we were all just wow, what the hell did I just witness? So one time she told us she just suddenly just brought up and said, the boyfriend wasn't there. She just said, I think I'm gonna stop birth control and the baby.
What?
And then we were like, what?
What?
And then you're not gonna tell the boy, right? And they said, no, I'm not gonna tell her. And it's like, so what happens if you actually have the baby or get pregnant? And she said, worst case scenario, I might have to quit school. And I'm like, bitch, that's the worst case scenario? That's not the worst case scenario. What do you mean?
Yeah,
you think the boy is gonna take care of the baby? You think the boy is not gonna ask you for abortion? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I think it's not even about maturity. That's just stupid.
Yeah, there's something there. I don't want to call your friend mentally ill, but I think it is a mental. Something's not quite right.
We're getting canceled. We're getting demonetized. We're getting canceled. We're getting political correct. We're getting flagged. We're getting everything. All right, keep going.
That's insane, though. That's the worst case is you drop school and you lie to your boyfriend that you're on
birth control
medication, like those birth control. Yeah, that's insane. It makes no sense to me.
Guys, be safe. Be safe, all right?
Yeah,
do not
use protection, guys.
Yeah, do not poke holes in condoms. Take your birth control. Communicate with your partner that if things are wrong, communication fixes everything. Literally, just sit down. Don't get angry at each other and just talk it out. Even though it might not be things you want to hear, but it's things that they want to say. If you don't let them say it by being angry, throwing a tantrum, or even, whatever, you're not fixing the problem. You're avoiding the problem, and that is why having a baby doesn't fix anything, because the problem is still there.
I think this serves as the perfect segue into the topic of marriage.
Yes.
like why would any couple actually need marriage if you know that you're gonna be together and you love each other? Isn't that physically itself already enough to keep both of you together? If you need a physical contract to keep both of you in keep both of you
In check.
yeah, in check, then that in itself is very counterintuitive.
I think it is a couple of things. First of all, it is tradition, right? For a lot of us, I feel
Well,
like
tradition could be just something repeated. But it could be bad.
Right, but it is tradition that has happened, and I think we get a lot of external pressure from society saying, "Oh, you've been dating for X amount of years. Why aren't you married? Or when are you getting married? When's the date?" And then so I totally agree. I'm just pointing out that there are social pressures, either from friends, families, but I agree. I think that marriage is it's a human construct, right? You don't have to get married to prove that you love the person that much. Like, why should I have to do something that involves other people to show you how much I love you? It's backwards, and I would never. I wouldn't say I would never. How should I word this?
You never get married.
No, I think I would like to get married one day, but it wouldn't be my priority to get married. I know a lot of times is getting married is kind of a way to say, oh, now I've got you now. Yeah, we're tied in, I'm committed. But you can do that by being committed. Being committed is your proof. And if you last that long, why do you have the need to prove that you are committed? It just makes no sense to me.
I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what marriage is. It's an incentive for society to spend money. It's a way for people to because humans need to be, well, at least a majority of them need to be kept in check. So they create the system where it allows two individuals to vow into each other and bind each other in contracts, so we don't split up. It's also a ceremonic form of what society like accepts, and in terms of identifying which two people are together, or at least in name. It's very artificial in a sense. Like even the whole just having having one spouse itself is very human bound type of tradition. Like you never see this in like animals or anything else. This construct of having one partner itself is actually already a very humanoid type of thing to do.
Wait, so are you saying that animals are not monogamous? Are they more
Polymorph?
poly
What was the word again?
polygamous? They
Yeah.
Are animals more polygamous? Or I don't even know if that's
a
the word.
I couldn't tell for all animals,
But most animals are.
I don't know, with my knowledge of
I'm
animals.
not sure about that, guys.
I'm gonna hold you on that. I'll hold you on that point, and I will.
Okay.
I'll fact check you. We'll
this.
fact check. Here's on the side is gonna be
Oh no.
the fact.
Yeah.
Okay. I kind of I agree. It is all of it is a sham. Down with marriage.
I wouldn't say it's a sham. It's what worked well for society.
It is a religious ritual to get two people married. That's how it stems. And now but nowadays non-religious people still get married, and because it is tradition, because it is the societal norm. And speaking of tradition, here's a hot topic. What do you guys think about diamonds? Let's say that we get past the marriage discussion. Let's say that you are getting married. Would you get your partner a diamond ring that costs, I don't know, like 10 grand or something? Or I've heard the standard was 3 months of your salary. That was that, at least in Hong Kong.
There's a standard?
Yeah, that is the standard. 3 months of your salary.
Standard.
Yep.
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. That's what.
3 months.
3 months of your sorry. Let me.
Of your current salary.
Yeah, let me correct this. Of your salary, not your combined salary. It's just your salary. Yeah.
Let me clarify this idea. I'm gonna crystallize 3 months of my salary into a carbon form, which in actuality doesn't hold value at all.
Yes, exactly.
For what?
Okay, so your stance is very clear. I think I agree with you. I think having diamonds is stupid. Let's hear what Jerry has to say before I continue my point.
Sorry, what? Let me.
He said, "Let me talk."
Alright, go for it, Jerry.
Okay, so it's actually very interesting. I love this topic because my ex, the 5 years one, she said she must have a diamond ring.
Oh wow!
If we get married,
She must.
so I think that's also a something that's implanted into our brain. Because I always try to explain to her hey, diamond rings are like a scam, right? There's conspiracy and they're stocking on diamonds and they're not giving out to the public, right?
Right.
And it's hey, you heard about De Beers, guys, no? And then she's like, oh, I don't care. It's something that's valuable, right? It's on my ring, and that's the least that you can do, right? But for my current girlfriend, she said, I want a corgi.
Oh my, yes, marry her.
She said, I want a corgi, I want a vacation to Spain. I'm like, okay, down, no diamond ring, no wedding, we do that, we go sign a contract, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, for me, of course, no one want to buy a diamond ring, right? You're not putting it on your ring. Because on top of that, you still have to purchase another one to put on you.
Yeah, right.
The man and the woman. And
the wedding ring,
yeah. You don't walk around with the wedding ring, right?
Yeah.
That's just for Instagram.
Are you gonna propose with a corgi now?
Ooh, dude, I would rather take that proposal. If I was a girl, I would rather take that proposal. I don't know.
I would, but at the same time, you should think about raising a dog is
Speaking
it's
dog
not
and
easy.
using married.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I would love to have a corgi, but that's a lot of responsibility. We will probably have to talk about that later on. But yeah, I told her I think we should go to eBay and get 2 silver rings. That's pretty easy, right? But the diamond ring is something that is so embedded in so many women and young women, and I think that not everyone would accept no diamond ring.
Yep.
Yeah, and the whole marriage idea, especially in the Asian culture, if you do not have a wedding, it might not look good.
Mm-hmm.
You know the idea of looking good, right,
Yep.
for your family. They have to celebrate and invite all your families over and family friends and say, oh, my son or my daughter is getting married. Look at that,
Right, kind of show you off.
That's something that Asian parents do feel important, and especially if you're the only child, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh wow, I only got to experience this one time. Here's my child.
Well, and then you can surprise them by remarrying and saying, hey, here's your second chance, here's your second experience.
Wedding money, right?
Yeah. I want to go back to what your ex said, saying diamonds are valuable. She's wrong. I don't care what anyone says. I think it's wrong. Diamond has no intrinsic value, and something like gold or whatever is applicable in a lot of way, right? And if you say that diamond is valuable because it is scarce, but it is not. There are now man-made diamonds that are even more perfect than a naturally created diamond. they can.
The scarcity was man-made also.
Right, and yeah, exactly. The scarcity was man-made. It was a human construct that is a marketing scheme. The whole thing is a marketing scheme, and that's why I'm so.
They limit the supply of diamonds in order to create demand.
Yeah.
That's why I was like talking about like the De Beer company, which pretty much is like the one company that controls all the diamonds.
Yep.
Oh, we are so getting demonetized in this video.
the Diamond Corporation is gonna take us down.
Yeah, they're coming over us. Oh my God.
Beep it out. Beep it out.
Okay. Let me. Okay, I'll balance it. So let me play devil's advocate, right? Let's say that I really want a diamond ring. Like all my life, I've been watching Disney, or all these fantasy. My childhood dream is to get a giant diamond ring and get married, and that is something that is sentimental to her, right? And I think if for her partner to show that they're devoted, they would do, in her mind, they would do anything. And if you can't even spend money on a diamond ring, which is something that she wanted her whole life, then you're not worthy in a way, right? It's whatever value she has on the diamond ring that matters, and that is the argument. It's kind of like having collectibles, like Pokemon card. You know, if you show a Pokemon card to some guy who doesn't even know what Pokemon is, they'll say, oh yeah, this is a piece of trash. But to a collector or to someone who you know knows Pokemon, they can see a Pokemon card and say, oh, this is valuable, or oh, it was graded whatever, and it is very valuable. It can cost up to like 50K or something like that. Then in that sense, it is the same concept where it has value because it was placed by the person who values it, right? And in a sense, by your partner denying you something that you value so much, it is their way of saying, oh, they don't even love me enough to. It's only 10K. Like in the long run, let's say you're married for 50 years, it's only 10K throughout our whole life. Why can't you spend it, right?
If she's like, oh, I must have it, like there's a must. I don't mind buying her a diamond ring, but it's so stupid.
Yeah, you would begrudgingly buy it.
It's like I actually don't know too much because I'm not going to propose anytime soon. But you get an engagement ring and then you get like a
wedding band.
Wedding ring, right?
Yep.
So engagement ring is the diamond ring that we're talking about, right? Which is the one that we
proposed with. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the 3-month salary. Right?
Yep.
And then you get the marriage ring, which you could buy on eBay, right?
Yeah.
But like, I don't think normal couples would like would pick a cheap ring for the second ring either. Right? Just the whole idea is so stupid.
I wanna chip into what Gabriel talked about just now, where he brought up how like Disney like feeds on to the
fantasy,
all females, the idea of a great life is to find a partner, and they're supposed to give them the once in a lifetime experience of marriage, and after you receive it, it's going to be like happily ever after. I feel like this is what people constantly gets feeded on to in society. Okay, like in Disney movies are one part of it. Every love movie out there is one part of it. All even social media right now. Like I personally know, like, okay, there's a few parts in like where a female, like, okay, I'm just saying the non-disclosure. This is like general populace of what I observe.
Careful.
Yeah, like okay, there's a few times when a female's Instagram would blow up with pictures and it's like their marriage and when they have like babies and these are like two times where they could blow and a marriage is like their time to like spam images and like get
to show off
their life.
Yeah, so I guess to them it's very important, and I don't know. I guess it the society has to be like that to incentivize people to spend money and have kids and have an average family so the whole society will work. But it's kind of it's kind of limiting how I see like people are fed on to this idea of like you have to get married this way, you have to start a family this way, you have to buy your rings this way. Yeah, I still don't understand how so many people could buy into it.
I mean, if we talk about like marriage or wedding, like we always say, oh, we want to make it simple, right? We just invite like just a few friends and we make it really small, you know.
I don't even want to invite anyone, so you guys are not invited.
Fuck you about that.
Why would you want to come actually? Like why? Like
it's to celebrate yeah, and an excuse to get fucked up.
What? Celebrate that I binded myself contractually, like through contract with another.
Yes,
in this world.
But like, okay, let's go back to what I was about to say. Like, yeah, we all want to say, oh, let's save money, let's make a small wedding. At the same time, there are so many factors, especially as Asians, the parents would have huge involvement with this. They would not like the place. They don't know who to invite. They don't know if they should invite this guy. This uncle cannot sit next to this auntie. This friend cannot sit next to this uncle. You know, you don't put an insurance agent next to a housing agent. You know, not like that. But
that's interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, like in terms of an Asian family, I think like okay, personally, my parents didn't marry until I was like, I don't know, 17, 18 years old. Yeah, just because I had to go to the States, they have to have like an official.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
That's so weird.
That's so interesting.
They actually have a super like small like dinner throughout their like with their parents and like call it like a marriage thing.
How long were they?
Had, like rings stuff.
How long were they together before they decided to get married? Because of you, basically.
The only reason is because I have to go to the States and they have to declare, like for the visa, they have to declare that they were like
spouse.
See, like society pressures you into doing this, and they probably
legality issues.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Actually, we forgot to mention legality issues too. Yeah.
Yeah, I
so,
think.
Yeah, like they never been together in a sense until it was needed. Wait, back to what I want to say. Yeah, like through Asian like traditional families, they would pressure you into these sort of things. And when I say pressure, I think for a lot of Western viewers here, they don't understand the actual like they would drag you to events where you have to meet other people.
Oh yeah.
They would talk. Yes, they would talk, like in their own friend groups or whatever, and being like, "You have anyone that you could introduce to my own son or daughter?" They have that type of stuff.
Because like even within the parents' friend group, they'll be scientist is still not getting married. Like he's 20, almost 30, you know, and then it's like, oh yeah, I don't care, but he cares, you know.
Right.
That's how Asian families work.
Okay, just to be fair and also shed on like Chinese cultural like made up culture. They have to wear those big ass golden bracelets and chains and
jewelry.
Those okay. I would say investing wise, gold is definitely better than diamonds. But then are those disgusting?
But you're not gonna melt it.
You sell it. You sell it.
Messed up, right?
You sell it. No, you sell it. Some people
sell it as a whole.
Yeah, some people like rent it out, and some people they if they actually buy it, they just sell it afterwards.
Really?
Like,
so they don't keep it.
Gift it to them. They gift it to them.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Melt it. It's like a form of just putting your money that you got onto your body.
So it's kind of like a way to show off, and it's like, oh look, we are well off, we're good. Because I would imagine something like that would be something passed on throughout families, because they have, I know like gold bracelets is a thing where it's back in my day when I got married, you know, my mom gave it to me, now I'll give it to you, or something like that, right? But I think the ones you are referring to, it's just literally big ass gold jewelry that they put on just for the wedding, and then you say that they sell it afterwards.
That one is usually a pig, because that symbolizes to have a lot of children.
Well, you get the pig in the middle, and then you get like you watch Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Yeah, you got like
You're like Shang-Chi with unlimited rings. The more the better.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really Chinese traditional thing to get married. Because I think your parents might be like one day when I ask like, oh, like when am I gonna have the son like when daughter-in-law tea, like that's one of the traditions that you have to like present the tea to your parents, and they will like drink it, and they're like, oh, very happy, you know. It's a whole traditional thing. But at the same time, I think to our Western viewers, you guys need to understand that for Asians, we don't get married until we're like early 30 to mid 30, right? Like on average. Because compared to some Western viewers or some of my Western friends, they got married at like 21, 22, right?
Right.
That makes no sense to me, because financially speaking, that doesn't work. And it doesn't work in Hong Kong. So just as we said in previous podcasts, it's impossible to get an apartment. Renting one is insane. So you're forced to live with your parents.
It's very hard.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but it makes no sense. Like for me, it's possible, but it would take like 1/3 or even 2/3 of my salary. It's stupid. So I guess that's why parents do force children into marriage, because they want to seal the deal and kick you out of the house and you start your own mortgage and start your own family.
Yeah.
I want to do one more short topic like that's related.
Sure.
Before we end this podcast.
Yep.
Like China. In China, basically how you get married is you have to own your own house.
Is that like a prerequisite before you have to get married?
Yeah, it is.
Huh.
That's all.
Literally, you need a house or you are not gonna get married. That's the entry fee, and once you have the entry fee, you could play this game.
That is so weird. So let's say that I want to get married in China, and so I go to the consulate or whatever. Let's say I have no wedding.
No.
I'm so confused. What?
No.
Oh, tradition. Oh, okay. So, I see. Okay, sorry. I thought the government stops you from getting married if you don't have your own house.
It's basically a law.
I see. So it is.
It's unspoken.
I see.
Yes. Because the female side wouldn't allow the boy to marry their daughter if they don't process it properly.
So the societal standard is like that. Okay.
Yes, especially in China, because in Hong Kong,
you meet the parents and you bring your resume.
Oh wow! It's like a whole interview.
Right.
With this all your assets.
I swear to God, that is one of the reasons why me and my previous girlfriend broke up. Because her family just don't think I'm rich enough.
Oh really? Oh man.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. Right, that's actually an issue. Like the parents for the daughter would actually try to pick like really rich
guys,
people to get married with, and it was kind of weird because her mom was trying to force her into another cousin that's really rich.
Cousin?
Like, that's how yeah. Like not by blood, right? But
Okay.
But it's still so weird. Like,
right.
That's the standard of Chinese. Like they have to pick rich people. Like,
yeah. They always wanna. I feel like in that sense they want to date up. They don't want to date down. To kind of extend their family. I don't know, like power or like wealth.
They don't want their daughter to have a hard life. think, like for Chinese, I think like, oh, money can solve all the problems. That's how they're approaching this problem. And I have friends of friends of friends, family members that actually have like family breakdown because of these issues, because the boy is not rich enough or not good enough. So it's a huge problem, and I think that we have to reconsider how this traditional works. And yeah, it's so hard to put this in words, but yeah, it sounds.
That's very interesting because I feel like all of us we were lucky enough to have parents that's very accommodating. My parents have never said a bad thing about any of the people I dated, or at least when I was dating them. But and they always told me I can date whoever I want. And I shouldn't consider their feelings before my feelings. Like all of my feelings or how I feel towards this person should come before them, no matter how. Even if they don't like the person, they wouldn't tell me in my face because they don't want to skew my own feelings towards the person. So I feel like we were.
Oh, I mean, that's the Chinese thing, right? We never like tell you in front of your face.
Right.
We always gossip at the back. But at the same time, I just want to point out that you're talking about you as a male.
Yep.
But it's completely different to the female. You know what I mean? Like we're females, but like if it's a female, like if I have a daughter, I would want her to marry someone that's rich and powerful as well, so she don't have to suffer throughout her life or like throughout the rest of her life or whatever. Like I think in Chinese tradition, like wealth triumphs love sometimes. Like especially what Scientists just said about the housing, right? It's stupid, but at the same time, you have to understand like feeling safe and have a place to settle in is like a human biological like safety net. Like you have to have somewhere to sleep, right? To feel safe and accommodated, right?
And I feel like the reason why the parents have so much power in the first place is maybe the couple is young, right? If you were independent, let's say even in China, let's say that you live alone, you work in the city and your folks are back home, like in some town, they have less control over you, whether you date someone. They can have opinions, but I feel like a grown adult, let's say mid-20s, early 30s, they would have more power to kind of make their own decisions rather than having their parents disagree with who they date. I don't know. Maybe that's.
I would disagree to that because you're always a baby to your parents. You know what I mean?
I see.
They always treat you as a kid.
Right.
And their opinion might not be right, but they always think they're right. So yeah, like there's anything else to add? That's a great topic.
I wouldn't be. I'm not gonna be a romantic and say that money is not part of this. Like, should I be with this person or not? I feel like everyone has to have their own, traits that they're looking for, and stick by them, and play out your rules, play out what you like. Be clear what you want and what you would want to give, and I feel like people will sort themselves out. If you're here, if you're for money, and if your partner is not, then it wouldn't work out at the end anyways. I feel like people would sort it out. It's a sad thing. I would say it's a sad thing that people have to consider money inside the equation. That's the sad part.
You still have to, right?
I mean, yeah. Realistically, yeah. You have to. I'm just saying that in terms of like, choosing the person who you're gonna spend your rest of your life with involves this more materialistic aspect where you have to consider is sad in itself.
I agree with the part where you said, oh, things would mellow out, things would be better if you work at it, or at least that's what I got from your message. But I kind of don't agree where you said, oh, you should go into a relationship knowing what you want. Because in fact, a lot of people don't know what they want in life ever. A lot of times you know you want a relationship, but then you don't know, like you can't say, oh, I want this person to be, 6 feet tall. They have to have black hair, they have no glasses, whatever. But you're never going to find that person because they don't exist. They may exist, but not in your, like, you can only meet so many people in your area or whatever. And it is highly impossible to date someone you truly know what you want. And so, which comes your second part, where things kind of mellow out. I think if you work at it, let's say I go into a relationship and I don't like the way she smiles, I don't like, things that she does, or there are things that may bother you. But I think if you give it enough time to actually know the person, they grow on you, and you both people like meet in the middle. And when you do meet, and that is when you have a beautiful marriage.
I want to clarify a few things. First, you said about how you agree with like if two people work together or not. Mm-hmm. I don't mean that you have to. I mean, sorry. What you like know what you want in a relationship. I would say it's like knowing what you could tolerate and what you couldn't in a relationship. And sticking, like, being decisive in a sense, like if you know that you could, if you're able to tolerate that, then okay, continue. But if you can't, then you guys have to think about what you're gonna do next. Mm-hmm. And then communicate about it. And also when you say like make it work with each other, I don't really mean that you have to like constantly change yourself again or like change her. I would be like, again, like know what you could tolerate, what you can't, and see if you guys could make it work.
But you don't know what you can tolerate or not, because let's say.
No, I mean, well, you experience it, and then you will know. You experience it, and you see, can I continue with this person, with this trait, which I don't like or I like.
But it's not. I feel like my point is that it's not very black and white, right? Let's say that it's a very. Let's say I cannot tolerate her diet, right? Let's say something. Some people are vegetarian. Some people don't like. Yeah. So in my mind, I'm not a vegetarian. If I dated someone who's a vegetarian, I cannot do that because we can't eat the same food. I can't cook for her. She can't cook for me. I mean, I can still eat her stuff, but she can't eat my stuff. But eventually over time, I go into the relationship thinking, okay, I cannot tolerate not eating meat, for 5 days, something like that. But it can slowly become, meat is not that great. 4 days, 3 days, and then maybe I become a vegetarian, or she becomes a meat eater. So I cannot agree with the fact that you said with the point where what you can tolerate or not, because it changes. Everything changes.
Well, of course everything changes, yeah, and I wouldn't say there is any perfect marriage, and I said I think it at the end because understand this, it's not it shouldn't be a one-side process. It should be a both-side process. Mm-hmm. Where both of you so yeah, if one of you feels like you can't tolerate any single trait and they feel like you have to terminate this relationship because it wouldn't work in the long term, then it has to happen.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I'm saying like the people who work will work, and if the people who don't, then both of you have to either work on it or you guys have to split.
Yep. So just to rephrase, I think you're getting at there. You should always draw a line, like a 底線, like a line where you cannot cross. Like if you cross this line, then it's like, okay, this person is toxic, or like, okay, I cannot handle this anymore. Maybe she's like blatantly racist. Maybe one or two jokes is good, and then it's like, oh wait, she says this every day. Run, But okay, I see what you mean now.
But at the same time, you might be for us, we just want to make everything work, so we could put a blind eye on these issues. Because for me, like one of the things that my ex did was she doesn't let me hang out with my friends.
Oh.
Because most of them are female, and she's like no hanging out with females, and she would let BM on my bad mouth on my female friends, and it got so annoying. Because yeah, like those issues, like if you don't let me hang out with my friends, like that's an issue, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not compatible with my friends, that's also an issue, because I really like my friends, and you are to a certain extent required to hang out with my friends.
Yeah, it's part of you, right? It's part of your life.
Yeah, so. That's part of me. I really like my friend. I hang out with them all the time. If you're not involved with my friends, it doesn't work. And of course, at the same time, I will try my best to introduce myself to your friend as well, to keep a balance. So yeah. So great topics today. I think we should probably wrap things up.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
I think we had a great episode.
Yeah, I think we were more engaged in this one because we had a lot of experience, obviously. We were womanizers, all three of us.
Use detections, my friend.
Yeah, guys. Don't be stupid.
And don't trap.
You guys
don't trap your partner by having babies. It's a bad idea. And remember
don't buy diamond rings.
Yeah, have kids when you're 30. It's old enough. It's fine.
Yeah, you have more money. You probably could afford a mortgage. You know? But anyway, let's not ramble on. Thank you, everyone that joined us for a great episode. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell button for notification. And we will see you next week. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.
Love you guys.
Goodbye.